We get a lot of questions on how to use the connection balls. Like anything, it's a tool, but you have to make sure you use it properly. And it's growing in popularity. We saw one of our drills that we developed being used on MLB Network in an athlete we hadn't even worked with, which was pretty cool. So we know it's reaching the higher levels of the sport, and Corbin Burns is using it. Knowing that it's getting out there to the masses, it's important for us to do a tutorial video on why we use it in certain ways, in certain contexts, and why we don't in other ways. You may not fit into any of these categories that we're going over today, and that's why it's so important that you get your mechanics assessed by a medical professional who understands why injuries occur, and then also how you could potentially improve your throw so that you could throw faster while negating or mitigating the risk of injury. One of our favorite ways is if we see athletes that are deviating out and around towards that glove side through their chunk, and they're kind of hinging over to the left, and maybe they're pulling their arm off. And that's how Corbin's using it here, and we'll throw it in that front side. And usually we'll start with that arm up, so they're closer to the position that the fault occurs, and then whatever throw we have them do, we have them throw it from that position. So it keeps them more flexed, so they're holding this the whole time. We'll start with that elbow up, and then we'll come through from there, but then we can progress that very drill to actually, something resembling a full throw with that elbow more compact. So this is a simplistic way to do it. And once we have that trained where they're not throwing that glove out and around and throwing their rotation off, or throwing their axis of rotation off, then we can actually teach them to lift that glove side more efficiently with or without a glove on. Where now it's under the arm, and their goal is to drop the ball as I go forward. So we're here, drop the ball, and come through, teaching them to lengthen through the front side, which is so essential to lengthen those glove side obliques, get their center of mass over their back leg, and actually load the back hip. So by utilizing that front arm properly, it teaches you to better load through that rear leg glute, compared to athletes who deviate with that front side low and come through the throw. Getting them to hinge away from the target can drastically improve their mechanics. So now we're teaching the body a different pathway of least resistance as they come through. If you're looking for the most comprehensive resource on training and rehabilitation of the throwing athlete, check out my book, Arm Alloy. The link is in the description. Now, back to the video. One of our favorite things to do, and this is probably why most of you guys are here, is to use it to improve the throwing arm. And the reason we like these connection balls is they got a little tackiness to them. They hold onto the skin fairly well, so you don't slide out or drop the ball early, and they're a good size for most athletes. Now, if you're a young athlete, a more petite athlete, smaller, you might need to get a ball that is actually smaller, like a Pilates ball that's maybe an 8 to 9 inch diameter instead of 11. And you can always deflate the ball a little bit as well. Ball between the shoulder and the forearm. So they're actually holding the ball here, which makes them bring the ball in towards their center of rotation and approximate as they come through, where many athletes kind of deviate out and around and circumduct around their body. So I'm here in an athletic stance, lightly holding the ball, not crushing the ball. And then the idea is the ball can shoot forward as I throw. If the ball comes out and drops and shoots over there, or the ball comes down and across or pops up, it's a sign that something is going wrong in your throw, and that's why this is a great tool to give athletes. Get that ball right in here, get them rotated away from the target, whether that's leg up, and then keep the ball in close and come through. So it teaches you to get that ball in towards your center of rotation and keep your elbow at a better height versus if you start in a bad position. And that's why it's so important that when you do it, your hand or your baseball or your plyo ball in this case is about eye or eyebrow level. Your elbow is about shoulder height, not too internally rotated, not too low and externally rotated, and that you're relatively pronated. And we just posted a video on pronation and supination in the throw, so if you haven't yet, go back a couple weeks and check that out. But we're here, and now as we come through, the arm lays back into external rotation with the elbow in better relationship to the trunk, and that allows me to throw the ball more effectively. So then we're going to go through one more way that we can actually use this for an athlete with a low elbow to get their elbow a little bit higher. And if you need more help than this, and these aren't the drills for you, reach out to us, overheadathletics@gmail.com, or give us a call. And we'll get you set up with an individualized program that's designed to take you from where you're at now to a more efficient biomechanical sequence, whether it includes these drills or something different. And another simple application to get your elbow up, similar to what we used to get the front side up or elevated, is now we put it under the back elbow. Now, I have had athletes start in this position for certain reasons, but what we'll actually do is have you start in more external rotation this way and come up towards your head. So the idea is you lift the ball towards the head and drop this. So if you don't drop it, your elbow is going to end up really low as you come through. So now the idea is I come straight up. If I am somebody that naturally has a low elbow position. So it's a great little technique to increase your elbow height if you're someone with incomplete elevation early in the throw and you come through with that low elbow dragging. That's our connection ball drills. How you can use the connection ball, a few different applications. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. New videos multiple times a week. We'll see you guys in the next one.